So Nagesh ji came from Dockyard. I got him from there and I requested him to come and help me out because he's been my instructor and while I was doing engineering. And in pipe fitting, what he taught me, the thing is that once you give the dimension and the shape and then how it forms and how it's constructed, I think he's the master. I could not think of anyone better other than Nagesh ji to come and do this for me.
Ashim sir had designed keeping in mind that the structure will be sturdy and can withstand any kind of wind and rain conditions. The height was kept at a relatively higher than usual so as to experiment with vertical farming at some point in future. Once the design was done, Nagesh ji landed there with his team. Just before the team landed, me and Nagesh ji marked the pole positions. Pits were to be made to plant the poles and concretize the base. The square steel poles were bought as per design requirements. The vertical poles were of various dimensions. They started off with the vertical poles first, which would form the basic scaffolding for the structure. Then the horizontal bars reinforced the structure. Using chain pulley, the pre-assembled triangular pieces were finally placed on top of the vertical poles. They almost took 10 days to complete the whole structure.
Welding is done with something called as an arc welding. So this is an arc which has metal on it. Electricity, heat flows through it. Electricity flows through it. Heat is generated over here and it melts. Or it holds a joint over there. That's how it's welded. So it's arc welded and it's strong because this joint is actually metal. The main columns on which rests the weight, that's made out of 2-inch rods. The 2-inch rods are connected by 1.5-inch rods, and on the roof for the poly nets to stay on, we have put 1-inch rods, and that's how we have bifurcated the rod sizes. And to show you an example how it looks, all the 3 rods, the size variants, this is how it looks. So this is a 1-inch rod. Slightly heavier than this is 1.5-inch rod. On this rod is the connecting rod between the mainstay rods on which the whole shade house rests on. So this connects the heavier rods, which is 2-inch rods. These are the heavy rods on which this whole thing has been built. This is the mainstay.
Next, the people who did the polythene roofing were called. The sides were covered with shade net. As explained in the earlier episode, we chose this kind of design for various reasons. The tops were covered with translucent polythene sheets. When this was done, it looked perfect and complete. Little did we realize the blunders the roofing guys had made, which would cost us dearly very soon. It became evident when the cyclone hit our farm after a couple of months.